Hi everybody, this is Paul Gerard. I'm a student loan consultant working with the American Dental Education Association, ADEA. We've put together for you a series of repayment modules that we hope will help you as you determine a repayment strategy as a dental school graduate. This first module is on some simple steps to help you do just that. As we start out in this short module, some reminders we hope will help you. First of all, there's never a penalty for early or aggressive repayment. Some of you are going to adopt an aggressive repayment strategy, and there's never a penalty for doing that. You can also switch repayment plans. You can work with your loan servicer. If you get in one repayment plan and you discover that that's not going to work for you anymore, you can contact them about switching plans. We talk about that more in the repayment modules on repayment and the income-driven repayment plans. Also, those of you who are going to be making voluntary or, again, aggressive payments on your student loans, those can usually be targeted on your most expensive loans. So once again, if you're making an early payment, perhaps during a grace period, and then once your loans come due, if you ever adopt an aggressive repayment strategy and you pay more than the minimum payment amount due, you can work with your loan servicer to target those voluntary or additional payments on your most expensive loan. We always encourage you to work carefully with your loan servicer, as we've mentioned, on all repayment matters. And documentation, folks, is extremely important. Make copies of anything you send in, note who you talk to, and when you send things in online. We're going to encourage you to use a wonderful repayment calculator called the AAMC ADEA Dental Loan Organizer and Calculator called DLOC, and it's available at ADEA.org/DLOC. And finally, there are some other repayment modules available online. Once again, some on repayment plans, on the income-driven repayment plans, on the public service loan forgiveness, on federal consolidation, and also on refinancing with a private lender. Now, there are three very simple steps to figuring out the best repayment strategy for your student loans. This is all pretty much common sense. Number one, you need to be sure you know what you borrowed, who has the loans, in other words, who is your loan servicer, and when the loans come due. We then would encourage you to identify and constantly take a look at your own repayment objectives. Do you want to be cautious early on and perhaps aggressive later, or maybe you want to be aggressive right out of the gate? So know what you borrowed, who's got the loans, and when they're coming due, and identify and constantly review your repayment objectives. And then step number three, simply pick a repayment plan to help you meet those repayment objectives and know how to switch plans later on if you need to. We're going to take a detailed look at each one of these steps. Now, step number one, know your student loan portfolio. All of your federal loans are housed on a federal database known as the National Student Loan Data System, NSLDS.ed.gov. Folks, this is not where you manage your loans, but this is a good place to start if you're not sure exactly what you've borrowed. All of your federal loans from college, any post-bac program you may have gone to, and obviously from dental school will be listed here. If you're not sure who your loan servicer is, you'll find information on your loan servicers on this site. And we think you're going to find that you will have one loan servicer for all of your federal loans. For example, you may be graduating dental school and have 4 direct unsubsidized loans, but in all likelihood, they are at one loan servicer. Loan servicers are organizations under contract with the government to work with you in repayment. They're organizations like Fed Loan Servicing, Great Lakes, Nelnet, Navient. There are some others, but those tend to be the big 4. So once again, you may have a bunch of different loans from dental school and even from college, but in all likelihood, they will be housed in one place at one loan servicer. Some of you have campus-based loans. These are loans that came straight from your school. If that's the case, you will have a different loan servicer than you have on your federal direct loans. If you have some loans or you think you have some loans that are not listed on the federal database NSLDS.ed.gov, check your credit report or with the financial aid office at the school you attended and see if you have any loans that are listed with them. Private loans are not listed on NSLDS, only federal loans. Now, we've listed here some loans that you may have in your student loan portfolio. We've highlighted direct unsubsidized and direct plus, also called grad plus. These two loans tend to make up the bulk of, if not all of, the student loan portfolio for many dental school graduates. The direct unsubsidized loans, which are sometimes still referred to as Stafford, they have a 6-month grace period and the interest rates are fixed on these loans. Direct Plus loans have a 6-month post-enrollment deferment. It works similar to a grace period, but it's not actually called a grace period. But they come due just like direct unsubsidized 6 months after you graduate or drop below half-time status. They also have a fixed rate. The campus-based loans, we briefly referenced those earlier on a previous slide. These are loans such as Federal Perkins, the Health Profession Student Loan, and loans for disadvantaged students. And the terms and conditions of these loans vary by the loan program. They will have a different loan servicer, as mentioned, than you will have on your direct unsubsidized and direct plus. And some of you may have private loans. In all likelihood, if you have a private loan, it is from college or even perhaps a post-bac program. Check with your lender on terms and conditions for these loans. Okay, now that you know what you borrowed, who has the loans, and when they are coming due, step number 2 is to take a look at your own repayment objectives. And folks, there is no right or wrong answer to the question about what are your repayment objectives, and these can obviously change. Some of you may want to be aggressive to try and reduce the impact of interest accrual. That's where all the interest you're not paying builds up and is added back to the original amount that you borrowed through capitalization. So some of you may want to be aggressive. You may want to start aggressively. Some of you may need to be cautious earlier on, protecting your income and maximizing your monthly cash flow, and perhaps switch gears and be more aggressive later after you get established in your practice. Some of you may be interested in the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, and a reminder, we have a separate module on PSLF. If you're interested in the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program and you want to maximize forgiveness under that program, you're going to want to make minimum payments. Once again, more on that in the Public Service Loan Forgiveness module. Some of you may have as a repayment objective getting repayment help in exchange for service through programs like the National Health Service Corps and the Armed Forces. So lots of different kinds of repayment objectives. And once again, these are subject to change throughout repayment, which is one reason it's very important to know how to switch repayment plans with your loan servicer if your situation requires such. So step number 3, once you know what you borrowed, who's got the loans, and when they're coming due, and you have a pretty good idea about your repayment objectives, at least initially, step number 3 is simply to pick a repayment plan. And we've listed 2 categories of plans here on federal loans. The first category are time-driven repayment plans. There's a standard 10-year plan and an extended 25-year plan. If time-driven plans don't work, the next category, or the second category, are what are called income-driven repayment plans, or IDRs, and you see 4 different ones listed there. Clearly, the most recent plans are Revised Pay-As-You-Earn, known as Repay. It became available in December 2015, and the one before it was Pay-As-You-Earn, known as Pay, and it became available in December of 2012. We have a separate module on these time-driven and income-driven repayment plans that we would encourage you to take a look at, that explain in nuanced detail how to determine if one of these is going to be the best plan for you. We hope the information in this short module has been beneficial to you, and we remind you there are other repayment modules that can benefit you as well. Best wishes from the American Dental Education Association for every success in your dental careers.